Hello, Stampin' Buddies. It's Late Night Lori coming to you from Lori's Little Bit of Crafting. It is Thursday today, and I'm a little earlier than I have been lately. It's not quite 11 o'clock, but I thought we would do this quick card. Hopefully it won't take me as long as a couple of my other videos have taken. But I just got this today, this Mixed Labels bundle. So there's 7 dies that do a banner and then some nice little label pieces and a foliage piece. But I'm only using this piece. I cut out the banner and I colorized it, and I'll show you that, but it just didn't work with how I wanted it to on that card. So I ended up not using it, but I'll save it. I'm also using this So Swirly embossing folder. This is from the annual catalog. This is just a regular embossing folder. It's not a 3D one. So when you go to put it through your Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, you're going to use just your normal die cutting sandwich minus the shim. I think you just use the platform and the 2 cutting plates and put it around there. But if you look on the base plate, it tells you what the recipe is for a regular one. And then I use these with a couple of my more recent projects. And I thought I would use some of my extra hearts that I had cut out. But then I also cut out just some plain white hearts because I wasn't sure exactly how it was going to flow. So those are just going in my extra pile. But I did figure I could hang on to this and use it as a template or a mask with a blending brush and make like my own designer series paper with it. So I'm going to hang on to that because that can probably do a couple of cards before it gets too wet and won't work very well. But here's that label I was telling you about, the banner. And I used my blending brush because I really like the blending brushes. And I liked how the banner looked, but it seemed more of an animated sort of thing rather than a classy card. So I'm just not going to use that. So we'll get those pieces out of the way. This is the Adoring Hearts hybrid embossing folder. So the dies can go in, the big die can go in the embossing folder so you can cut and emboss at the same time, or you can use just the embossing folder or just the dies. So with that, let's just do this quickie card. It shouldn't take us but a few minutes because I've got all the pieces cut out. So this is a thick basic white cardstock base. So it's 8.5 by 5.5, and it's scored here at 4 1/4. I used my bone folder to burnish that edge. This layer is just a standard layer at 4 by 5 1/4, and I'm going to emboss that quick. I thought I had done that, but I guess not. So we'll do a little bit of that work here, but it'll be quick because I thought that just the swirliness went with the paper really well, I thought. So we'll try out my sandwich suggestion that I told you about. So it just should be the base plate, pardon my noise here. A cutting plate and a cutting plate. So we'll put our piece of cardstock in here, and this doesn't matter if it's straight or not, but if you use this line for an oriented design, that'll help keep your design straight. This one doesn't matter because it's all swirly. So when I do my plates, I usually try to do the embossing folder and the lower cutting plate offset a little bit so that when this goes in, there's not quite as much to grab onto for the machine. And look at how easy that goes. All right. And here is our swirly piece. So let me move that out of the way. And I don't, oh no, there's nothing else we need for this. So I'm going to put this out of the way. And I love this because it is so compact. If you needed one of these, this is a Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine that's the regular one. It's $130 plus tax and shipping. But for Celebration, you would get 2 $60 items for that. So 2 $60 reward items. So put those away. And we can go ahead and use our Tombow multi-purpose glue. And I'm just going to put some around the edges and a little in the middle. Because it's textured, I prefer to use the liquid glue because I figure then it can kind of get into the little nooks and crannies if it needs to. And adhere that a little bit better. All right. So the next step then is to take a piece of our designer series paper. Now this is just 3.5 by 3.5 because each of these strips I'm just going to have cut at 1.5 inches. So, boy, I'm just having all kinds of stuff flying around here, and Riley's not even here today. So we're going to do 1.5 inches. And for the shorter ones, if it's under 1.5 inches, I like to cut it off using the measurements on this side. And 1.5 inches just takes us right to that edge. And then we'll go another 1.5 inches. Oh, I guess I cut this wrong. Oh, I want 1.25 inches, not 1.5 inches. So 1.25 inches. So this one's at 1 inch. Well, guess what? We're going to do 3 different sizes on this one. That'll be all right. It'll be different. So I think what we'll do is, that'll give it a little variety. We can just use our little scraps like that. That'll be fine. We'll glue those on. And then I'm using one of the dies from that mixed labels set. And I had 2 stamps ready. Yep. One that I used on this one is You're Pretty Wonderful. And then the other one is I'm So Glad We're Friends. So we're going to go ahead and put that on here. And I don't squish it hard, I just give it nice even pressure, and that is just, it's a beautiful image. So I did see an announcement from Stampin' Up! That they're having some supply issues with the red rubber that's used to make the stamps. So there may be some inventory issues coming up with red rubber stamps. We don't know for sure. It depends on when and if they get that resolved. So let's go ahead and just glue these on. And I just use a very thin layer, like so. And these can just be pretty random. You saw I wasn't being very careful. It kind of goes against some of my OCD tendencies, but I think that's good exercise for me to just lose the order sometimes and just put them a little more casually. And then I love this gold open weave metallic ribbon. It ties nice. I think I showed one other video how nice this ties because it's very flexible. So you can tie a very nice bow like that. It would be great for gifts and packaging. But I'm basically just going to do kind of a loop-ish. Technical term there, loop-ish. And I'm just going to make that loop. And then I'm going to kind of twist it. And here I'm just going to use some Stampin' Seal to put this on here. And then we'll use some dimensionals. These were actually from one of our kits, an older kit that I had. And I just figured I'm going to use them for this. backs. They're pretty sticky. And we'll put that like so. I kind of wanted it more off to a side, but then I'd have to move my ribbon here. I guess I didn't plan that very well. That works. And then it doesn't necessarily need to look like a bow. I just liked it as the backdrop. And then we'll use some of these hearts. And these hearts are super flat. So you can see how flat they are. They will not add any bulk to your card for mailing. These are an online exclusive adhesive-backed heart sequins. And there's 3 sizes on here. Oops. That's what happens when you don't have very long fingernails. And that's why I usually use my take your pick tool, but I thought, oh, these are so flat, I can do it with my fingers, right? Guess not. All right, so there's that. And I think that's that. That went together so easy. You could even do this. Oh, guess I wanted to put a couple more of these hearts on too. So we can decide, do we want white hearts and gold? Do we want, that might actually help hold. I don't want the same. Well, that's not the same, I guess. I kind of like how this one looked a little bit better. So we can put this here and just put that on top. Do you think that's too much? I'll have to let it sit and I'll look at it again in the morning and see what I think. But pretty quick and easy. So you could use any scraps for this, you know, when you're cutting down a 6x6 or, you know, a layer card and you've got those leftover pieces, you know, you could keep a bunch of these and just, you know, randomly put them on your card as your layer. It doesn't have to be a solid layer of designer series paper. So if you've got a paper you really like, keep some of those scraps and make a card. Let me know what you think. If you'd like any of these products, certainly reach out to me and I'll get you the numbers, or you can shop my online store. If you can share my video, like my video, look for me on YouTube even, I'd appreciate it. So that's all I have for tonight. Happy stamping. Until next time.